So I recently got over 400 applications, 418 applications for a job that I was posting for, that we're hiring for. A super important job. And you, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, whether you own a business now, whether you're in the process of starting a business, you're going to need to hire people. And your ability to hire the right person and hire the right person the first time, quite honestly, is going to determine a lot of your success as an entrepreneur. So in this video, instead of making a boring, bland video on like, here's how you hire, I didn't want to do that. I thought it'd be interesting to share the experience of, all right, I got over 400 applications. I'm already running this business and this company. How the hell did I manage this? I want to share with you the process that I went through from start to beginning, how I narrowed down the resumes to how I actually posted the job, like how I came up with the job description in the post, how I narrowed down the first batch of people, then the second, then doing the interviews, and eventually actually to making the offer and all of that. Again, I'm starting to make these style of videos of really just like opening up the curtain and behind the scenes of as I grow Franchise Empire. I feel like we have a mission and goal to build a company that does over 8 figures in sales, 7 figures in profit, and has enterprise value of $25 million or more. And so I'm in year 4, in the middle of year 4 of building this company. And I just thought it'd be cool to start making content, just documenting what we're doing as we're building it. So that's really what this video is about. If you're interested in hiring, the right people and kind of talking about that process, then let's dive in. All right. So first, hiring. Hiring is this is something that I've had to learn and constantly evolve with, and I still make mistakes. So just to give you some context, 1 year ago, we had 2 full-time employees on our team. So I'm making this video in June 2025. 1 year ago, we had 2 full-time W-2 employees, 2 or 3, let's just say we had like 4 or 5 contractors, some full-time international contractors. We have multiple video editors, like an appointment setter, so on and so forth, right? We still have those, but now we have 8 full-time W-2 employees. So in the last 6-7 months, actually as of this hire, I guess it would be 9 now. So as of the last 7 months, we've hired 6 or 7 full-time people. So pretty significant growth. I mean, it took us 3.5 years to hire our first 2 full-time. In the last 7 months, we've hired another 7. So pretty wild. And I've been learning a ton about hiring the right people and firing people as well. Unfortunately, we've had to fire 2 people too. And you're probably thinking like, hey, yeah, I need to hire some people. Or I'm going to need to hire some people and I want to get it right. How did this come about? So number 1, how do you even come to the realization that you need to hire someone? Well, for me, I am in a business coaching group and program that's a year long. We meet quarterly in person. So every quarter I fly out to Chicago with this group of people, and they take us through these really powerful exercises in our business to determine like what are the bottlenecks, what are our needs, what's stressing us out, what's working well, and like doing strategic planning. And so through this program, I've really learned that if you're looking to build a business, like an actual enterprise, a business that you could one day exit or sell, or a business where not everything relies on you, then you have to build a team. And you have to build a team of great, capable people. And everything that I've learned and read from just being obsessive about reading business books, going to courses, meeting people that are more successful than me, every entrepreneur will tell you, hire people that are smarter than you in their area. So that's like what my intention is right now. Every time after I've done one of these quarterly workshops with this group, I come back going, okay, got it. I got to hire another person. If you want to learn the right way to own a money-making franchise without putting your family at risk financially, check out our free masterclass at franchiseempire.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the episode. There's a book that's really good called Who, Not How. The whole concept around it, I read that book a few years ago. Poof, blew my mind, changed my entire business, that book, because I was so focused on finding out and trying to learn the how to do everything. and try to put everything on my back, right? And maybe you can relate to that. Like everything in your business, you think you have to know how to do it. You think you have to learn how to do these things in your business. Here's an example, right? And we'll get to the 400 applications and that whole process. So a few years ago, I think this is 2023, because our director of marketing started July of 2023. And it's June of 2025. So what happened was, I had been making content on YouTube. That's how I started to grow Franchise Empire. And we would get all of our clients from making YouTube videos. And so at some point I'm like, all right, I want to grow more. I want to scale. I want to help more people, get more customers, get more clients, and trying to figure out how to master ads. If you want to grow and scale, you will typically need to master client acquisition. How do you dial up the volume on the amount of clients that you get and acquiring those clients on a consistent basis and knowing your ratios and your numbers, all that jazz. So I'm like, all right, we need to learn how to run ads in order to grow. And we need to be able to launch successful ad campaigns to generate leads, to get more clients. And so over the span of, 3 to 6 months, I was trying to figure it out on my own strength. Yeah, I was trying to hire ad agencies that were going to be my who's, right? Because the concept of who, not how, is to find a who that already knows how to do the thing that you're looking to do instead of you trying to figure out the how on your own. But I'll just tell you what, the experiences I had were just not great. One of the ad agencies, the girl was young. That's not a big deal, right? But I knew more than her. I was like, hey, how do you set up the Facebook pixel and this and that? And she was like confused. I knew more than her about how to actually set things up in the Facebook account. So I was like, oh, that's a red flag. That's not ideal. And things weren't going well. So I went through like 2 or 3 different agencies of trying to figure out how to run ads. And I was starting to get really frustrated and struggling. And at this point, thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars down the drain of trying to figure this stuff out, either between the actual ad cost and the ad spend or the actual hiring of the agencies in the groups, right? So I read this book, Who Not How, and I'm like, all right, I need a who. I need a really strong, capable who. I need a director of marketing. Because at this point, I'm managing our whole content process, getting videos uploaded, managing with the video editors. There's just a lot of marketing things that I was doing. And I learned at that point, my brain is naturally wired for operations, right? You may find that you gravitate to a certain aspect of your business, and you need to, like, what I've learned. I want to try to keep saying you need to, because it's not necessarily about giving you advice, because I don't know you, but share my experience, right? So what I can do is share my experience. In my experience, what I've learned is the best entrepreneurs figure out a way to complement their weaknesses. So if you're great at operations, you need to hire someone really great at sales and marketing. If you're really great at sales and marketing, you need to hire someone who's great at operations. I naturally gravitate towards the operational side of things. I've had to really force myself to get better at sales and marketing, because here's what I've learned is that sales and marketing are what matters the most in a business. You could have the perfect operations, right? You could have the perfect product all dialed in. It's fantastic. Like literally, your product is life-changing. But if people don't know about it and you suck at selling it, then it doesn't matter how great your product is. Your product is only as great as your ability to influence individuals and to get it in the hands of people to consume it or use it, right? So I learned 2 phrases. Number 1, the best marketer wins. Number 2, sales cures all. So what I was learning was that, and I promise you we're going to get to the 400 applications in that story. But this is important context to build up to the point, right? What I learned was that I'd meet people where I'm like, this person's not that smart. And they're like, yeah, my business, I'm doing $3 million a year in my business. I'm like, how the hell is this person doing $3 million a year? They're all over the place. They're completely scattered. How are they so successful? How are they generating so much revenue? Like they don't even know what direction they're going. And it's usually because those people are really good at just taking action, and they're good at sales and marketing, typically. And so I started to learn, I'm like, all right, I'm meeting all these people that I feel like I'm smarter than, or more organized than, or have things more put together. My operations are better, but I got to be humbled in that they're more successful from a revenue and sales standpoint. And so that was part of my reason of hiring a director of marketing, because I knew, okay, the best marketer wins and sales cures all. What leads to sales? Well, marketing. You got to have good marketing typically in order to then generate the sales. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hire a director of marketing. Now, keep in mind, when you're thinking about hiring, what's often going to happen, and this is what's happened to me almost every time, is that you hire the key role when you can barely afford it. Like when it's like, I think I can afford this person. I can afford him maybe for a month or two, and then things have to improve and I got to start generating more revenue in order to keep them around. That is how we've grown from 2 to 9, is pretty much doing that. And my first hire was my first W-2 hire of a full-time salary. It was a big bite for me to take off, to take on. And at the time, it was like, I'm going to really have to make sure and be very intentional that once they take over these things, that I allocate my time towards revenue generating activities to be able to make sure to produce more money so we can continue to afford to pay this person. So that's a key part of being really intentional that you'll need to do when you're hiring people. The mistake people make is they'll hire someone and then they'll just keep doing what they were doing, or they won't be really intentional about, hey, if I hire a manager for my business, I've got to make sure now that I spend my time doing things that are going to generate and create more revenue to be able to easily afford to pay for this person. That's got to be the mindset overall. That's at least what's worked over the last few years for us to grow. So that's a little bit of a recap of kind of when you know you need to hire someone, when you don't know how to do the thing. And then just understand that it's typically never going to be the right time to hire. It's typically never going to be a comfortable and safe financial decision to hire. You're going to feel terrified, because I know that I was. And so fast forward, we've hired a bunch of people in the last. So I hired director of marketing. Then I hired someone in sales, right? So again, hiring the most important areas. Then who else did we hire after that? Then it took a while for the next full-time W-2 hire. We were working a lot with contractors and international contractors, because that's just what we could afford. And so we made a significant pivot in our business model that automatically was able to really step up and increase our revenue and our sales in this pivot. I'll make a whole nother video about the pivot and how we shifted and changed our business model. That unlocked everything. That was after reading a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. Both of those books were written by the same people, by the way. Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy co-wrote them together. So I first read Who Not How, then 10X is Easier Than 2X. The concept in 10X is Easier Than 2X is it actually takes more effort to only double and 2X your business than it does to 10X, because 10Xing requires a completely different level of thinking and a different strategy. So I'll give you the short of it. As an example, we had a model where we were focused on selling a product and leading with that product that had an average ticket of, let's say, $2,500, $2,800. We pivoted our business model to a brokerage model where the average revenue is literally 10 times that amount. Hey, so I recently put together a list of 5 low-cost franchises that make $1 million or more. If you want to see that list, then click the link below in the description or go to franchiseempire.com/low cost. Let's get back to the episode. Okay, so in November of 2024, we decided to build an internal brokerage division. I'm not going to get into that too much in detail here, but hired a head of brokerage. So that was the third. And then I remember in November going to one of my quarterly workshops business workshops and doing this activity around my unique ability and the things that I did on a daily basis and how I ranked those things in terms of if I was good at it, if I hated it. And one of the conclusions I came to is that I needed essentially someone in sales operations because I was spending a lot of time there, getting really caught up there. And it was becoming very frustrating. So then in February, I hired someone for sales operations, and we added another person to the sales team to make calls and qualify clients before passing them to our brokerage team. Then we hired a second broker, then we hired a third broker, and so on and so forth. So it's been crazy. After going to this workshop, I realized, and I had already pretty much become clear on this, that we were going to need a director of operations. I was getting really caught in the operations side of the business. And it's kind of a quality problem, actually, because I'd focused so much on sales and marketing. We had all this activity happening and our pipeline getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it was super exciting. So that mindset paid off hardcore. It was like, hey, my weakness is in sales and marketing. So I need to keep hiring people in sales and marketing that are really good, that's what they're great at. And they'll compensate for my weakness, because I know that if I front load my investment into sales and marketing, then we'll produce enough revenue to then be able to hire in operations and be able to hire other people. And a lot of the times, entrepreneurs, maybe like you'll hire someone in operations first. If you're good at sales and marketing, great, do that. But some people make the mistakes and then they stay in operations as the owner. And they got two people in operations and no one powering through in the sales and marketing. So you find that your business doesn't grow. So what happened was at the end of Q1, at the end of March, we decided to do a CRM switch and change. And so we decided to switch to HubSpot, which is very expensive, by the way. But it's supposed to be like the Ferrari of CRMs. And so in switching to HubSpot, I became the leader of this CRM migration, which is very, very complex. Our CRM system has an incredible amount of workflows, automations. It's very complicated. And so now I found myself every day trying to project manage the CRM migration and just feeling completely overwhelmed, completely in over my head, frustrated every day, and like I was failing and letting my team down, to be quite honest, because project management is a weakness of mine. It's not a strength of mine. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. And I was just having to get really in the weeds on the CRM stuff. And we wind up having to push it was the day before we were going to flip the switch and migrate to the new system. And I realized we had missed a huge part of it. We were about to migrate over and flip the switch, and it was going to be a shit show. It was going to be chaos. All right, that's it for part one. So I wanted to give you a real look behind the scenes at what I've learned from hiring, building a team, and really growing the business this year. Part two is going to drop this week, where I'll go deeper into the hiring process and what to look out for as you grow your team. And hey, if you're liking this more, honest, in the thick of it style content, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you want more videos like this, there's a playlist just for you right here. See you in the next one.